Welcome! This is Back to the Bins. I'm your host, Mr. B. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you've been here before, thanks so much for coming back. And if you're new here, thanks so much for stopping by. This is a comic book collecting channel, and I'm a comic collector. These Sunday videos are intended to showcase the books I picked up this past week at my local comic shop. I've got a pull list, so I'm pretty familiar with what's happening in comics today. I love digging through the dollar bins, and I love digging through the back issue bins. So, if that sounds interesting to you, and you'd like to join me on my journey back to the bins, why don't you take a look over there, and I'll show you what I picked up. Alright, and like I said, these are the books I picked up this past week at my local comic shop, 204 Comics in Winnipeg, and as per usual, we start in alphabetical order, and that takes us to, again, Action Comics. This is issue number 1079. That's a Jason Sean Alexander cardstock variant, and I am here for it. The big man with the S on his shirt and cape takes a look at the earth that he protects. Unbelievable. Action Comics has been having some amazing covers recently, and I didn't just get stuck collecting those great Sebastian Fiumara covers. I'm just going to continue as long as Action Comics keeps putting out great covers. This is one of them, so absolutely stunning. I love that big picture stuff, you know what I mean? Well, and, given that it's the holidays, we got this. This was supposed to come in last week, but, there are all kinds of distribution issues. This is Archie Christmas Spectacular #1 and a Dan Parent cover. Now, I don't really care about Archie, the stories. This is wholesome goodness with the odd innuendo, of course, which is something Archie's known for. But I don't care about the characters and things like that, but I just love these holiday covers. I think the art style is perfect for a Christmas issue, so I'm really struck, and I do really love holiday covers, and this is a great one, one of the few of the year, and that's pretty cool. Here we've got something that I was supposed to get last week as well. This is just a cover by. This is The Avengers, issue number 21, the Bendis Marvel vs. Capcom variant. Jed MacKay still writing this title. I collected the first 12 issues of this book, and then I put it down because it was great. I really enjoyed it. One of the first runs of a comic book. I had started from issue 1 as I've gotten back into comics. But I figured, I was going to put it down for a while and dig around the bins, find new comics and things like that. But I can't say no to a great cover. I love Storm. I also love the gimmick of Capcom, of course. And what's really cool about this one is that you can see how this one was colored in. I kind of like that on the cape. And a sucker for Storm. Super cool cover. Nice to add that to the collection. Oh yeah, and then I was digging around in the back issue bins, and I found this. Always looking for cool Batgirl covers. Of course, I love her in Birds of Prey, so to see her on a solo title, something like this, even the new one that's out now, I had to get this. This is Batgirl Year 1, number 9, from August of 2003, and that's a Marcus Martin cover. Now, I'm not entirely sure if this was an ongoing or if it was a limited series, but I know that there are other DC titles with Year 1, obviously Batman being one of them. So I don't know if this is something I'm going to continue to buy just because I want to read the story. I think right now as a Batgirl cover collector predominantly, this is just going to be a part of that collection. But super awesome. I hope the book's cool. That would be neat. And this was a real shocker as well as I moved through the B section in the DC aisle at the LCS. We got Batman number 177 from October of 1965. This is a Carmen Infantino cover, Bill Finger doing the writing. And obviously you can see that is missing. So I don't know if that was one of those remainder covers or what the deal was here, if some kid just cut it out. But I saw this. This was a $3 comic in the back issue bins. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to take this with me because I think the cover's beautiful. I don't get any Silver Age Batman. That's just not something I was ever going to collect. But loving Batman kind of in that aesthetic way that I do, having this in the collection just sort of adds to that because we got 3 Batmans on the cover. I'll probably read this because I think it's going to be cool to read some Silver Age Batman, and I like I said, never would have guessed to get it. Oh, and it's a December issue too. That's pretty cool. Even though it did come out, it hit the newsstands in October. I think 1965, that's probably my oldest comic, so that's kind of cool too. Keeping with DC, keeping with Batman, and keeping with December and the holidays, this is again Batman, Santa Claus, Silent Night Returns, issue number 3. That's a Bernard Chang cover. Still haven't read issue 1, and here's issue number 3. I think what I'm going to do, I'm on holidays right away. I'm on holidays right now, but I think next week, because it's just going to be an easy week, there's nothing going on yet. The holidays really haven't started. I'm going to get down to reading some of my books. And because there's a lot of Christmas issues that I want to read that are out right now, as well as I want to dig out the Christmas issues to put out under the tree for people to look at, I'm going to start reading these as well, and I'm also going to really try to get to that backlog of comics I've got. First world problems, folks, but nonetheless, they're real if you want to actually get some reading done. Keeping with DC, I'm telling you, I'm becoming more and more of a DC collector, and it's because the titles and stuff are so awesome. I mean it. They're doing good stuff there. This is DC vs. Vampires World War V number 5. This is the Otto Schmidt A cover, and like I said, I'm a fan of Batgirl, so normally we'd get a variant copy, but this was great because here we have Batgirl in her vampire form. Super cool. Love this. Really fun book, too. Really liking this. Maybe one day I'll find the original run of the DC vs. Vampires. Moving into the indie stuff from Mad Cave. Nice to see this back. This is Dick Tracy number 6. This is a Francesco Francavilla variant. This is the beginning of a new arc. And again, an awesome cover, nice close-up of Dick Tracy and his revolver. And the next one is the villain in the same sort of look and style. So I'm hoping that we're going to see a trend for these Dick Tracy covers to have these sort of portraits, because I'm a sucker for a portrait. So this is super cool. Love this. And Dick Tracy has been a phenomenal book. If you don't know who Dick Tracy is, he's a detective, the 1940s, post-World War II, and he's punching guys and shooting guys and going to shady places, teaming up with his buddies and solving crimes. It's a really fun book. I love that Dick Tracy's made a comeback, and unfortunately, it's probably a bit of a sleeper hit because, Dick Tracy's a really old property that I'm sure is kind of hard to find interest in, but if you read it, I think you'll like it. This, too, moving into more independent stuff. This is a Virgin cover, so you can't even see what this is. But this is Hello Darkness number 5. That's a Martin Simmons Virgin variant, as if you can't tell that that's a Simmons cover. This book continues to impress me. There's a multitude of stories within each issue, and they're all sort of horror, weird-based stories. There's one continuous story that has been going since issue 1, which is a sort of nuclear war, apocalyptic kind of tale, which has been phenomenal as well. I'm really into this. Horror is definitely making a comeback in comics. People already know that, but if you're not reading Hello Darkness, I would say give it a shot because this has been a really good series. Oh, here's a really great cover, and we head back to Marvel. This is something I'm going to read, but I'm also just in love with this cover. This is Marvel's Holiday Tales to Astonish, issue number 1, and that is a Leonardo Romero variant. I talk about him all the time when we show his covers. I love Leonardo Romero's work, and for him to do the Marvel's First Family, absolutely awesome. I love the ode to Silver Surfer there. Super cool. Ben's always taking it, right? And Johnny just thinks he's having a great time. I just love this. So cool. And with the Fantastic Four coming out soon, I didn't need that excuse to buy it, but they're going to be everywhere shortly when they hit the theaters. This is just a cool cover featuring them, and again, a great holiday cover. I can put that out this week, perhaps. Back over to the independent stuff. Another awesome story. This is a great comic. This is Kosher Mafia, issue number 4. That's a Sammy Cavella cover. I think the last time I showed you the Kosher Mafia pickup, I actually called the book Kosher Mania, which should actually be like a deli supermarket kind of thing. That would be cool. But Kosher Mafia is the title, and it is an awesome book too. Really loving this. I am up to date with this because seems to be a little bit more spread out in the collecting times. So again, I would say when this comes out as a trade paperback, this is something you should pick up. It takes place in the 1930s. It's gangsters, and I really, really love it. Good art too, actually. Oh, yeah, and here's a book that I loved the first run of and have not gotten to reading this one yet because I buy so many comics, but that's the beauty of the hobby. This is Liquid Kill. This is issue number 2, and that's a Dennis Menhier cover A. I love the artwork. Liquid Kill really does have great artwork, but Massive, it's just not a big enough company, I guess, or publisher. I mean, they're doing good work, but I also think that they're a bit of an underdog in a way. I think they've, some people I think are a little bit salty about this particular publisher. I don't know, maybe it has everything to do with Whatnot or that kind of stuff. But I'm loving some of the titles they put out. Liquid Kill was fun. In this first iteration, kind of left it open and a weird subject with weird content, which I'm always up for. And a cover like this is just super cool. Love that. Oh, and then the dollar bins found this. Don't know why it was in the dollar bins. I'm sure you could have charged at least $2 for it. Look at this. This is Marvel Team Up featuring Spider-Man and Daredevil. Issue number 56 from January of 1977. That's a John Romita Sr. cover. Also got Sal Buscema doing the interiors. And John Romita, right, has drawn Spider-Man, Daredevil, and Electro. 3 of my favorite characters in all of comics on one cover. About to duke it out, done by the legendary John Romita. What else could you ask for from a dollar bin book? And really, it's in good shape despite being in the dollar bin. So happy to get this. Love that. Super cool. Going back over to the indies with Dark Horse, here is Nightclub 2, issue number 4. That's a Juan and Ramirez cover. Vampires, teenagers, another sort of horror book. This is a limited series as well. I think there's one more issue, and then we'll see what happens if they'll do a Nightclub 3. Not too sure, but super cool. Super cool. Here's something that I had been waiting for. It was delayed, probably because of those distribution issues. This is The Quarrel, issue 1, I guess, or it's just a one-shot. That's the Alonso Molina Gonzalez cover, and it's literally about, I haven't read it yet, so I'm just remembering sort of the synopsis from League of Comic Geeks. It is a battle between a cardinal and an oriole in a park. I love bird watching. I got into bird watching during COVID, and you'd sit in the backyard, feed the blue jays, and eventually every other bird would show up, and it was fun to watch. So I'm really curious about what this is going to be like, and as somebody who really enjoyed watching birds, it's cool to add a bird comic to the old collection, and something different, and it's not always about guys in capes and all that jazz. But sometimes it is, because here we have, from Marvel, of course, we got Spider-Gwen, the Ghost Spider, issue number 8. This is an Edwin Gallman variant. I love Spider-Gwen. I didn't know I needed Spider-Gwen in my life. A super cool character, and I have loved all of the books that I've read so far that have been out in the last 2 years featuring Spider-Gwen. And I know this isn't her peak point. There's plenty of other really great moments that people talk about, but I'm loving the character and I'm loving this story. It keeps getting better, so I'm going to keep collecting it, and these covers have all been great as well, so that's super cool. And here's the last book, something I'd been waiting for as well, because this series is way better than its sort of mothership book. This is Thundercats Shitara, issue number 5, the Rostein variant. I have a little bit of trouble with the way the hands kind of just folded back that way. It bothers me in just sort of that sense of composition, but I still think it's a great cover. And like I had told you from the beginning, I was trying to get a multitude of different cover artists for this particular series, whereas with Thundercats, I was getting only the Perillo covers. So still cool to have this one. This is a superior book to Thundercats as far as I'm concerned. I think might be the last issue, or there's one more. This is probably the last one. 5 seems more more accurate. But nonetheless, again, this is a great book, and then maybe if you can find this in the trade, this is a lot of fun. And that's everything, folks. So hopefully you enjoyed that, and how about we get back to the real world, shall we? Well, that was a great stack of books. Hopefully you enjoyed what you saw, and if you did, why don't you like, comment, and subscribe? It really helps to build the channel, and I'd love to develop a community of people who just really love comics. Thanks so much for joining me today. We'll see you next week, and until then, remember, comics are good.